and even if Jake is a bigger Nintendo fan than I am, I'm pulling your leg. I have no dog in this fight. I'm not even going to look down at you.
No deg in this fight?
I got no deg in this fight. You could spend $200 to get that game and play it and enjoy it. I'd be like, whatever. It's not my money. It's not my life.
It's not my bag, baby. Like Austin Powers.
It's not
my bag, baby.
Yeah. Do I make you horny, baby? Playing Zelda make you horny?
Do I make you randy, baby?
Does spending $300 on a game that you don't own make you horny, baby?
Well, hello and welcome to Grasstouchers, the show where the three of us pals talk about video games, how much we dig them, how little time we have for them, how we're getting our butts handed to us in Siege sometimes, but that we enjoy them anyway. I am Jake.
I'm Jared.
And
I'm Safari Jared. Sorry.
I'm not Safari Greg.
Jared, ladies and gentlemen, is a wonderful addition to the podcast this evening, Jared, considering this is an audio format. Mm-hmm. Jared's wearing like Crocodile Dundee. No, that's more of a cowboy
bucket hat.
It's a bucket hat. He's wearing a bucket hat on top. It's pretty...
It's my gamer hat.
Pretty slick.
Put it on my
Hey, this week we are going to cover a few things. I've got the notes ready. We're going to talk about just our Siege experience lately. We're going to talk about Marathon. We're going to give an update on the Switch 2 and how lame it's looking like it's going to be. And a little update on Dune Awakening. So let's jump right in. Jared, how have you been doing this week in the video game world, dude?
Doing good. Still playing Siege. Some successes. Pretty good amount of failures in there. Most of which you guys have been present for. But there's a lot to learn with that game. There's a lot of awareness you need to have, and it just takes time. And I'm okay with that. I've been watching a lot of Versus Vortex on YouTube, which is it's a Singaporean professional fighting game player with an old FGC kind of legend OG. His name is Mike Ross. Very likable guy. Mike Ross used to have a show on YouTube called I think it was Excellent Adventures or something. He would play Street Fighter 4 with Gutex, another guy, and it was a good time. And I've just been enjoying that and kind of half stepping. Like I'm gonna go back to playing Street Fighter 6 maybe soon, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay,
but cool. Other than that, just out here, my bucket hat, gaming. You guys,
how hot is it out there? Is it getting unbearable?
It's not unbearable yet. Actually, this is going to be a pretty nice little week where we're having a dip, but it's rearing its head. Good. It's getting ready. You can feel it. You can feel it, and I'm pretty disappointed.
The storm,
dude. They have. And I don't want to hear anybody in some winter state call me a crybaby because you want to see the sun. Shut up. You shut up, okay?
That's right, dude.
Until you're just wrong. Until you've experienced 118 out here, I don't want to hear it. And that's the other thing. Sometimes it gets hot in these other places. I get it, but it's hot for 4 days, and then it goes back to being 95. And I just so. I have these Arizona version of seasonal affective disorder when people in the winter blow their brains out because they're so sad because they haven't seen the sun. I am depressed that summer is here. I'm very sad. Yeah. And but, what are you gonna do? Kill myself? Never.
Like a
never.
chump?
I will never. No. Dag, what's going on, man?
Well, Jared's a man after my own heart with his hatred of the heat. Because I, too, share a hatred of all things warm and cozy. I would rather be slightly uncomfortably cold at all times than even a hair hot ever.
Yeah.
But no, it's Siege, man. It's been hit and miss. The hits are really, really good. The misses are not as awful as the misses used to be with that game.
Yeah.
I just my only frustration with Siege is that it seems like everyone's just better than me. Like everyone. And I've got like 500 hours in that game. And everyone is better. Like Bobby and Susie, who've been playing for 2 weeks, just like no-scope me from across the map and know all the runouts because they watch 2 videos on YouTube. And, Dokkaebi can just go straight to hell, just in general. I hate Dokkaebi.
Right.
Every team that we play against that utilizes Dokkaebi beats us. I've learned that stat. Not literally, but it just seems that way.
Yeah.
Honestly, side note, one of us should probably main Dokkaebi. We'd probably be pretty good.
Yeah, we can work on that.
She gets banned a lot, though.
She does. But when she doesn't, usually the team that plays her really well wins. So, but I don't know. I guess my frustration with the game is that I feel like there will never be a version of me that can like truly enjoy the game. And I don't mean like not enjoy the experience with you guys. That's why I play. I mean, it's fun. It's fun when we lose. We crack jokes. Like it's, we get flagged as offensive for saying not offensive things, and
I know, right?
And then these guys who say these horrible things on voice chat just keep playing,
Yeah. Me and Greg snuck one in last night. We just played one match of standard so that we could avoid some ranked match going like 45 minutes long. And then we stayed up and talked for another hour after that. But whatever. We played one match of standard, and we got skyscraper, and it's standard, so we can't ban maps. You get what you get. And there's a bunch of windows and balconies and stuff that the defense can run out on, and they did. And it wasn't a shutout, but it was not great. And they were just playing like chimps, dude. Naked chimp with an M16 in his hand, like just silly. And at one point, I think I said like, "What a loser" or something, and it got flagged as offensive. What a loser!
You shouldn't have done that, dude.
Are you joking?
Shame on you.
Yeah, sorry.
You better watch it.
Yeah.
You better cut that. But there's a real problem I have with there's these I want to say that they're console kids, because when I go look them up on R6 Tracker, it does this thing on R6 Tracker where if you click somebody's profile and they have an Xbox account, it will take you straight to their Xbox account, even though the little symbol says like the Ubisoft logo. Anyway, and there's all these kids that they're in the same ranks as us. These techniques don't work at high levels of gameplay, but they're playing ranked at low levels and winning, and then they'll get hard stuck in silver and whatever. But it stinks because there's only one way to beat that set of tactics, and that is to play the game a little more, learn the maps, even the ones you don't like, and check every window always. You just got to know these spots, It's like the example we kept using a little while ago, that one Claymore on Border, first floor in the workshop. There's that spot where we watched someone get a game-winning Claymore kill because an attacker put the laser of the Claymore in through the drone hole. And Jared was like, "Whoa, that's sick. I didn't know they could do that. That's so cool." And then the next round, Jared dies to that same Claymore spot.
Like, this sucks.
Well, I've learned nothing. That sucks.
Yeah.
It's that phenomenon iterated across the whole game and every map, and it's just you just gotta learn, and it's challenging stuff.
Yeah, that
I'm sorry.
You're good.
I just pooped my pants.
Oh, cool. I think that the thing for me with that is I just agree with all that. There's never going to be a point in my life where I will play the game enough to be able to defend myself against chimpanzees in that game. And there's also never a point in my life where I'm going to play the game enough to ever get past gold, probably, and
yeah, it's a goal. I think that's a goal that we have, right? Is like, let's try to get to gold. I think that's reasonable if we keep up with it.
Sure. And that's kind of, I think that's what bums me out about the game is like, no matter, I mean, I could have 500 more hours and I'll probably be just as good as I am at the game because it will take me another probably 5 years to get 500 more hours.
You're right.
Which means I'll play, 3 or 4 nights a week for an hour and a half with my buddies, You know what I'm saying? There's this, I guess, this like looming specter of like, this is as good as it ever's going to get, and this is what it's going to be every night. So learn to enjoy it more. And so I think for me, the next step is to start playing some different operators, some operators that like I just don't play, just to spice it up a little bit. Maybe I could get, good with, someone like Fenrir or, even like Doc or something, and definitely not play as a Rick and Morty skin, and like things like that.
You should play Doc every round to keep our teammates from playing.
Yes, literally to do that.
I feel you. I started playing Grim a little bit here lately, and me and Jared have put together some strats. Like if he's playing Monty and I'm playing Grim, he'll cover and then I'll pop out from behind him and shoot the gadget and get those bees going, and then he can push up and we're forcing the enemy to move. And like there's some stuff we did with Sins that was kind of rad with the sort of smoke wall coverage thing. There's lots of things I think we should absolutely try. I agree.
Yeah. So other than that, I haven't been playing much. But definitely gonna, work is not that work is settling down, but I think I'm getting better at my job and time management, and so
attaboy.
Having to take work home a little less, and do less, administrative tasks on my laptop after I get off work, and so have a little more time to, when you have those systems in place and you have experience at your job, and not to sidetrack off Grasstouchers, but this is kind of a Grasstoucher topic.
Hit it.
Setting aside time at work, especially if you work an office job, like I am a teacher, but a lot of what I do as an administrator of my program is paperwork, right? Answering emails, contacting parents, contacting vendors, etc. And so if, like one of the things I decided recently is I'm going to set aside 30 minutes out of every day where I'm going to answer emails. And that's all I'm going to do. And anyone who knocks on my door to bother me can screw off. Like, I'm just not, unless it's an emergency, don't come to my office. That includes the rest of the staff. Like, I love you guys to death, but if I'm on my laptop and my eyes aren't moving, don't bother. Yes. Like, don't come in and ask me my opinion about something.
What's the opposite of office hours? You know what I mean? Like that's. I have a closed door policy.
I have a closed door policy.
Like, frick off.
Maybe I need a sign. Honestly, that might be something.
Sure, yeah.
Or just tell the other band directors, like, hey, if both doors are closed, don't come in. Like, just don't. Right. Like, there's a reason both doors are closed. But yeah, so to give me more time at home, because one of the things I do at home before I leave for work every morning and after I get home is I answer emails, and that's something that needs to kind of stay at work, I think. And
sure it does.
It can be hard when you get. I normally get about 25 emails a day, like that I have to answer, which is a lot, I think. And
that's a lot.
I'd say so. For someone whose primary job is to teach, that's a lot. And so
right.
Just setting aside that time and in the spirit of touching some grass, making sure that I have time to play some video games at home. And like one of my goals this year is to read more. And so I've got a bunch of books on my bookshelf right here that I've not read. I've got a good mix of self-help, like leadership kind of things, and also
Tom Clancy books.
I've never read a Tom Clancy book, and I'm really embarrassed by that because I really need to.
Frick, dude, you got to do that. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. And so
let me know if you need some recommendations.
Need some Air Force One. Just touching grass in the best ways, guys. Trying to develop some balance and that sort of thing to my life, and enjoying the process. What about you, Jake?
I have also been touching grass. I started working out. I told Greg and some other accountability partner type folks in my life that if I don't hit 180 this weekend, this being just this past weekend, I am going to stop trying to just eat and protein and gain, and I'm just going to start the working out part. And so I've done that. 3 for 3 this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm very fortunate that at work there's a gym kind of setup that I have access to, and I used that Monday and today. Tuesday I did a home workout, and so I've done some like walking and sprinting where I like walk 300 meters and sprint 100, and then I've done on sort of an outdoor like jungle gym kind of thing, like pull-ups. And I didn't realize what it would take for me to acclimate to the fact I'm a little heavier than I was before. That was the point, right? Is to gain and then cut. But you guys, pull-ups are like a lot harder now. And so I went up to the bar and I cranked out 3 of them, and I was like, if I do another, I'm gonna hurt myself. Like I should probably stop at 3. Oh my gosh, pull-ups are hard. So pat myself on the back, I guess. 3 pull-ups is what I could do.
It's not like you're at home and can put a chair below it, like, and which is a legitimate strategy for, doing pull-ups, just getting those reps in if you can't do a complete one. But dude, you're at work and you got a bunch of G.I. Joe retaliation watching you, and if you put a chair below the pull-up bar, they're going to make fun of you until you die.
Cut off. Yeah. So I had just today an opportunity to go to the outdoor gym again. My work had kind of cooled off around 4 p.m. and so I had been at my desk all day. I ate lunch at my desk. I've been at my desk all day, and I went over there. I did a whole bunch of stretching, just kind of getting loose. I did some shoulder stuff, some tricep stuff, some bicep stuff, and then I went to do the track, and I started to walk around the track, and it was about that time that other folks that utilize that equipment were nearby, and they were, how do you say, really fit, and I was like absolutely not embarrassed, but just it's this thing of like, I'm not actually gonna stop, but if I had a little less willpower than I actually do, I would take one look at these guys and be like, just throw in the towel. I'm stopping. I'll never look like that. So I should just stop, And I went to walk back to my office to like go change and get ready to leave, and I crossed paths with another guy who's in the military, and he's chiseled. It's stupid. And I'm like, hey, how's it going?
Does he have one of those chin butts? Like those
the
dudes that are so ripped that he's got like muscles on his chin? You know what I'm talking about?
Straight out of Fairly Odd Parents. He was the crimson chin, just like, what's up, man? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. Anyway, so I've been working out, and that feels good. I've been eating a little bit less, but tons of protein for dinner. I just had a steak. It was dope. And then I'm going to try to keep that up. And really just focus in. Yeah, Siege, man. It's been all about Siege. I haven't even bothered really playing anything else because I'm touching grass and doing real life stuff outside of that. Church is ramping up with Easter this weekend, so enjoying the work I get to do for the church and not really too concerned with exploring other games at the moment. So speaking of other games that I'd like to explore in the future anyway, we got to talk a little bit about some other stuff, such as the Marathon reveal and the Switch 2 and Dune Awakening. So, all right, so let's talk Marathon. I know I texted you guys earlier when the sort of big reveal thing happened. Real fast, on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your hype on this game? What are we thinking right now?
Marathon sounds long. No, I don't know. Man. It's hard to tell. I need to see some actual finalized gameplay. Like, what's the loop?
Sure.
I
think it comes out in the fall or something. So we got.
Bungie knows what they're doing, but they knew what they were doing like 20 years ago. Maybe things have changed too much. I don't know.
It looks interesting. I never got into Destiny, and a lot of people were saying this is like kind of a Destiny spiritual successor sort of thing. But I just have to say, and I know I mentioned this to you guys through text about the Switch and some other things. People are so negative online.
Yeah.
And about this game, the comments are filled with, well, you laid off your employees, so no game you ever make should be successful. It's like, guys, get over it. Just enjoy a video game. Like, it's probably going to be really good. It's Bungie, okay? It's probably going to be really good.
Right.
And I don't care if Mu2 got laid off in Thailand last year. I legitimately could not give a fiddler's flying that happened. I care if the game is good. And that's all that matters to me.
Right. I feel the same way. So, of all the things to complain about in the corporate world of the video game industry, whether a few people got laid off one time at Bungie is not really one of them. there's way bigger fish to fry. If you want to get anti-corporate and talk about, you know, some other problems in the industry, then feel free. But you're absolutely right. It's hard to look up news about a development in the video game world because what's going to be at the top of your algorithm? Hate clicks, you know, comments that are generally negative in nature. And so here's what I got for you. Just a nice little 5 minutes of checking out the overview of the game. I could not be more in love with this art style. I think it's extremely cool.
Yeah, it is interesting.
It's like borderline cell shaded,
Yeah.
kind of bright, high contrast.
Oh wow, that little circular crosshair.
The like Halo sniper
yeah.
crosshair.
That's
Yeah.
the Halo sniper crosshair there, baby.
Marathon is a team-based extraction shooter set around the mysterious and cutthroat world of Tau Ceti 4. You are a runner, a cybernetic mercenary who's given up their human form for a biosynthetic shell with unique abilities and stats, capable of both tactical and fast-paced combat. Here you'll fight in a crew of up to 3 players across a variety of zones and points of interest. You'll face rival runners in zones of up to 18 players, countless security forces, and otherworldly threats. To scavenge the remains of a lost colony for glory and fortune. The environments of Tau Ceti 4 are filled with weapons, materials, and equipment you can scavenge throughout the map. Before deploying, you'll strategically build your loadout and select a runner to ensure you're equipped for the run ahead. Your objective is simple. Get in, gather as much loot as you can, and make it out alive. Die, and all your gear will be up for grabs. Survive, and your loot can be taken into future runs as you grow in power and fill your vault. Death is
I guess I didn't realize it was an extraction shooter. Cool.
Think
Yeah.
quickly on your feet and outplay your opponent. And in your next run, you and your teammates will be the ones coming out on top. And even if you're down on your luck, factions can sponsor you with a fresh loadout, so you can get right back into the fight. Bungie brings its best-in-class first-person multiplayer action to the forefront. Dynamic and tactile gunplay, runners with unique playstyles, and customizable builds create highly dynamic and strategic team fights. Whether you're on a zero-to-hero run or high-rolling with powerful gear, you'll need to use your best judgment when you decide which fights to pick and how. Because no matter how geared you are, players with skill and strategy will always have the edge. Marathon is designed to be played in crews, with contextual pings, shared objectives, and down but not out to streamline playing with your friends. Death is not the end. And if you're the last one standing, you can overcome the odds to revive your teammates and get out with your hard-earned loot. And if you believe your skills alone are enough to conquer any challenge, we give you the freedom to opt out of crew fill to take all the glory for yourself as a solo runner. No 2 runs in Marathon ever play out the same. With dynamic events, variable weather, and unpredictable players, you'll have to adapt on the fly if you want to survive. Each run has a time limit, and anything can happen while you're chasing your objective. Looking to unlock upgrades or increase your faction reputation? Slip into the shadows as Void and ghost past your enemies. Search the map for rare materials and profit opportunities without being discovered. Want to push enemy teams and steal their loot? Bring in Glitch with agility implants and your strongest weapons to disrupt rival crews. Running support for your friends? Grab extra equipment, shield charges, and a specialized backpack to be the lifeline they need. You're always free to experiment with team compositions, and the only limit to how you want to play your runner is your loot and imagination. endgame challenges, ranked play, discovering secrets, seasonal storytelling, community events, and more all await you in Season 1, where you and your friends will start to unravel the mysteries of Tau Ceti 4. Remember, you're only ever one run away from your next big score.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. There's a couple of characters that I can just tell are going to be a pain to deal with. Anybody who can be invisible is anybody who's way more maneuverable than the character I chose is and so there's going to be some tricky stuff, I think. But it looks very cool. I think the art style is extremely radical. I like that they added what they were just saying about if you're down on your luck, you can get someone to sponsor you. There's like, to use Tarkov's language, vendors, and you can go to them and like buy into a loadout. So that if you've got absolutely nothing, but you've got a little bit of cash, you can like quickly just get back in there. I don't think there's like an in-game economy like there is in the Tarkov marketplace. They probably would have talked about that by now if there was. And obviously it's cross-platform. I imagine anyway. I don't know. It's coming out on console and PC, so they wouldn't probably want to have a marketplace across the console and the PC market. But anyways, I think it looks very cool. And yes, it is just an extraction shooter, so it's PvPvE. There's AI as well as any players. So.
I think the loot aspect is cool. It's like to me, it's it's definitely got some enticing things. It seems like it's going to kind of have combat similar to Halo in some ways, right? I like the futuristic vibe. I like the semi-cell shaded kind of bent to it. That's neat. My thing about extraction shooters is all the ones I've played, you have to just play a lot to be good enough to enjoy it. I mean, look, that's any video game, guys. I get it, but
right.
Truthfully, the game that I to this day I think have the most fun playing, even though you have to be really good to play it, is personally I like PUBG. That's the one I have the most fun playing. Sure. Obviously Siege, but yeah, I think it looks cool. I think it looks really neat.
I think the problem that they're going to have to explain and dodge for me is the game loop, because Jared and I found this in Tarkov when we got super heavy into it last time in the PvE environment, is that there is no end game, because the game doesn't end, because the point is to get stuff and money and play the game. The loop is go in there, try to survive, get some stuff, get out. And then once you've seen enough stuff and once you have experienced the highs of high tier loot, like what else you got? And so hopefully, whether it's storytelling or seasonal events or something, hopefully there'll be something to kind of hook you, because you could very well put in your first, like, I'll say 20 or 30 hours into that game and just kind of come up empty, like, this doesn't speak to me. All this is a shooter that I frequently lose all my stuff in. And, like, that doesn't feel good. So, anyway, do you feel that way, Jared?
I think for this to be, first of all, it looks exciting.
Yeah.
It's a good looking game. It's a different looking game. For the most part, there's probably some things that come to mind that I guess it could share some aesthetic qualities with, but they're gonna have to really, really nail the meta for me. Mm-hmm. And if they do it right, this could be my new favorite game for like a long time, because I love economies, and I love the risk taking factor of Tarkov. That's one of my favorite parts. Is like they even mentioned in the thing, you can go 0 to hero, you can go impact in mad heat. I like that feeling sometimes of being like, what am I gonna gamble on this run? What kind of returns do I want to see? Sometimes it's fun to run in with like a total eco round, and we used to do that on Tarkov sometimes. Go into factory with a double barrel, no armor, double barrel, some shells, and sometimes we run out with
1 times out of 10. You make it out with all this stuff, and it kind of rocks.
And it's fun. There's some fun gunplay. I think this is probably splitting a lot of differences with Tarkov too. I mean, like Tarkov it tries to be so realistic, and the technology is not there yet.
For sure.
Latency is such a huge issue, and like the hit scan is like not very good a lot of the time. Right. There's no kill
Whereas
cam.
in this game, your buddy goes down, you just walk over there to his like backpack and hold a button and revive him, and he's back in the game.
Right.
You know, I think that I'm super here for that. Instead of some sort of attempted hyper realistic limb damage or anything goofy like that.
A Fletchette.
You know, and look what they showed
Yes,
oh my gosh. The inventory management looks pretty simplistic. There is a little bit of a grid system, but you're not equipping individual bullets into individual magazines and putting those magazines into a tactical vest. You know,
right? I think what I want to see more than anything is for them to get the meta very right, and make the loop feel like it means something iteratively. I mean, it's like that's one of the main things with Tarkov is like you have the psychopaths that are like, all right, sick, new wipe, time to do all the same quests I did, but try and do them 5 seconds faster than I did last time, and get to slicks, get to level 6 armor and the best guns so that I can get wiped again and do it again. It's like,
awful.
Do something that's like
awful.
I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna try and be really. I'm gonna play this wipe more or less really well, because at the end of the season they hand out like something with some element of exclusivity. Unfortunately, we live in a baby culture. You can cut those off.
Oh, get them!
But we do. We live in this culture where everything is like, I need an award for participating. No exclusivity. If you got that because you've been playing for 5 years and I've been playing for 5 minutes, I want that thing, and I won't play this game because he has something that I can't have. And it's like that sucks so much of the enjoyment out of like jumping in early.
Cheating. Yes, it's what drives real money transactions in Tarkov that kind of ruin the economy multiple times. It's what drives cheating, is because people don't want to put in a little time and learn something or enjoy the game. Absolutely.
Give me a reason to participate heavy in the season so I can be like, nice, we did really well this season, and let's say there is something resembling a wipe. You get something. It's not even like a leg up, because, again, we're just talking about a loop that really doesn't make any sense. If we're like, oh, cool, we got an extra 500 currency for the next wipe, it doesn't mean anything. There's not going anywhere.
Right.
If you give me something that's like, I don't even care if it's like a freaking hat. That's like, you balled out in season 1. Here's your funny hat. And then everybody gets to look at my funny hat. Well,
here's
check it out.
A bucket hat with headphones on.
I'm Safari Jared. What are you going to do about it?
It's a hot dog costume. Like just a hot
It's a hot dog. Like from
it's
the old...
Mozzie Pizza skin.
Oh my gosh. Triggered.
I'm here for Tuberale hot dog skin. That's when's that going to come to the game?
There we go.
Bar S Tuberale. Yeah.
Well, hey, I
off,
think you're super right. It's got all the potential in the world because of who's behind it, and I think we've been burned by extraction shooters. Basically, by that I mean Tarkov before, and so we have our ear to the ground for like certain red flags. You know, it's like, hey, oh, that could be a problem. Oh, don't do that. So there's that. I think it's gonna be cool. I'm gonna keep an eye out on it. Switch 2, real fast.
Okay.
Oh, hit it.
I was just gonna say, if Bungie fumbles this will be an all-time foible.
Oh, because buddy. They've been working on it for like 5 years,
bro. Because they've had all the time in the world to look at what Tarkov has done wrong, and it's not a one for one. Thematically, it's very different. Obviously, right. Tarkov is very realistic to our reality. Yeah, that's not. But like, it's such a cool opportunity for them to like actually make this genre like legitimate.
Yep.
I'm excited to see what this actually is, and if they fumble it, I'm going to be pissed, because everybody has fumbled this genre, and I don't get why, because there's money in it, dude.
Yes.
Tarkov is a terrible game. It
so
sucks donkey balls.
And it has so much money.
It makes so much money. The subreddit, there's probably like 500,000 people on that subreddit. That's a lot of people. Crazy. Those are people who like the game enough to go and be like, I want this in my life.
Yeah.
It sucks so much, and it still makes a ton of money. Why is there not a bigger development company doing this somewhere in the States? Maybe not in that hell, that icy tundra. No, I'm not going to go off on Russia. I'm just kidding.
No, you're right. Bungie has been kind of coasting when it comes to Destiny 2, from what I understand, for a little while now. Destiny 2 has had a core audience, and it has been a game that people play for a while. But to my knowledge, Destiny 2 hasn't had anything like major in, I think, a year or two. They put out an expansion of some kind. I don't remember. So it seems like these are dovetailing, right, to where Marathon is the new, and they're going to do something with it. So, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It would be the biggest fumbling of the bag if Bungie, of all people, goofs it up. So, yeah, that brings us to the Switch 2. Real fast little headline recap. The tariffs or what have you will not be changing the price of the Switch 2 for now in the United States. It's still going to be $449 or $500, depending on what you want. The game key thing that we talked about a couple episodes ago, that is confirmed. So that's dumb. You don't own the physical zeros and ones of the game on a card. You insert the card and it functions as an authentication key so that you can download the game and play the game on the console that you've put the card into. And it just reminds me of this Ubisoft court case that's going on right now about The Crew. You guys heard about this?
No.
So The Crew is like a persistently online racing game.
Right.
And the whole idea is it's a persistent world, I think, and you can kind of hop on whenever you want and your buddies, and you can have like a home base and you're just kind of driving around. I think it's like this giant map or something. Anyway, I never played it. I heard it's great. They took it offline. They're like, hey, there's not enough people playing this game. We're not making any money off this game. We're turning the servers off. The Crew is gone. But because they designed the game in such a way as it has to be persistently online, that means the game just doesn't exist anymore. So there's people that paid money for this game that they cannot play in any way anymore. They don't have an offline version. They don't have a way to do like trial runs or practice sessions or time trials. Or it's a racing game. It seems like something you could pull off if you really wanted to. But because it's this super duper live service kind of game, it just like is gone. And so there is a lawsuit about that problem. And what it brings up is this like quasi-existential question of, do you own your video games? Because, you know, gone are the days of like going and buying the physical cartridge for Donkey Kong Country and putting it in your N64. What we're talking about is ones and zeros that you got from the internet because you paid money through some sort of point of sale, and you've probably downloaded the game rather than bought a physical copy. And even if you did buy a physical copy, you downloaded the game. So, like, what does it mean to own the game? What are the terms of that? And what kind of fine print in the EULA is fair game? And what kind of fine print is, like, horse and needs to be, you know, prosecuted in a court of law, which is kind of what they're getting at. I think basically Ubisoft's fallback is, hey, man, we told you in the UELA, you don't own this game. You get to play some version of it for as long as we say. And you clicked, I agree, on the EULA. So, like, suck our balls. But it sucks. And so I wonder, I don't know. I don't think Nintendo's trying to rug pull anybody, and I don't think Nintendo's interested in a live service game like that. But it's an interesting argument kind of taking place throughout the Twitter sphere and the internet. So
I think if I had to guess, given this year and what Nintendo, how aggressive they've been about emulation, we spoke on that a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
I would think that this is probably a move in the direction of protecting their games, because I think when you get cartridges, you can dump them onto your PC and then you can play with the files, and that probably allows for, you know, a lot of end user manipulation. So I'm sure it has something to do with that. And they're gay. And forget, who cares? Nintendo. Yeah. I don't want to play Mario Party 20. I know Deg does. Deg's a big Nintendo guy. And that's the end. That's all that needs to be said at the end of the day. Nintendo's going to have their homeboys. I'm just not one of them. And it's fine. It's cool. Yeah. They make great games. But I'm just not their customer base. And so I don't even need to comment. What am I going to go on the internet? And then get angry? whatever. It's fine. Who cares?
I feel like I'm held hostage by my kids' interest in Nintendo games. And I have played Mario Party and had a good time. I've played Jackbox games on the Switch. You can play those on other consoles too. But there's certain games I played on the Switch that are like super fun with a group for like a short amount of time. Switch Sports Golf is great. You know? And so there's certain things that I'm like, oh, don't ruin the Switch 2 for me. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm mostly sitting right here and playing with you two boys. So, like,
no hard feeling. That's not. I don't even mean that as like, if you like Nintendo, then there's something wrong with you. I mean that like, if I have a problem with what Nintendo's doing, there's something wrong with me. It's like it's with the tariff thing. I've been on the handheld subreddit off and on about the tariffs. People are like melting down in there. They're like, Trump is taking away our freedom to buy my 50th handheld. What am I wish that kid hadn't have missed when he shot him on the roof of the thing. It's like, because you can't create more e-waste, you're like, your whole world is like shattered. It's like, dude, get over it. If Uncle Sam was like, you literally, Jared, you cannot, specifically, you are not allowed to buy a Switch 2. I'd be like, all right, whatever. Okay. There's like a bajillion games I can buy. I would let it go. I'm not a big enough Nintendo guy to even like put up a fake argument about whatever they're doing is unethical or whatever. It's like, it's fine. I don't care.
It's also just expensive. The games are expensive. So
there's that.
Can I do my 2 cents?
Hit it. Yes.
I have two kind of generic comments about Switch 2 now that it's kind of simmered for a couple weeks. One, I do think the lineup, their kind of like opening year lineup, is the strongest we've seen from Nintendo in a very long time, between Metro Prime 4 and Mario Kart, which I've never been a big Mario. Jared thinks I'm some sort of Nintendo simp. I'm not.
No, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. I just know that you like
only
Nintendo more than me.
Comparatively,
only comparatively.
Yeah, that's all.
I think in the grand scheme of things, I'm actually like not into Nintendo at all. I mean, but I definitely compare to Jared. Oh, certainly. Like I've never been into Mario Kart. But I will say this is the first. And here's the reason why: kart racing games just kind of suck. I'm sorry. That's one of my like, we did a couple like a year ago or whatever about like games we'll just never play. Kart racing games are like in that category for me. I think I play Mario Kart like once every 4 months when like a buddy comes over. That's it. But I will say that the Mario Kart World is what it's called. Looks really interesting. It looks really cool. And then honestly, the one I'm the most excited about is the new Donkey Kong, the new 3D Donkey Kong game. I just think that looks rad. So I will say on the lineup perspective, I think they nailed it. And if you go online, there's people saying that next year there's supposed to be a new mainline Mario game that they're going to be announcing, and things like that. On the side note, by the way, did you guys see that they're shadow releasing Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remastered next week? Did you guys see that?
Is that real?
Yes.
No, you're joking.
Completely remastered, 4K, brand new graphics. They like remade the exact same game but with modern graphics. We need to talk about that for like 5 minutes tonight. But I wanted to say it before I forgot. Yep. But here's my bone to pick with Nintendo, and you guys may disagree because something Jared just mentioned is that he would love to be like rewarded for like being faithful to like a game or whatever, right? Or doing well in a season, I think the method that Nintendo has used to decide who can and can't pre-order Switch 2s is stupid and makes me not want to get the console. Because in order to pre-order it in May, you have to have a Nintendo Switch Online account with 50 hours of playtime. You can't even pre-order the system if you haven't.
Really?
Yes, you literally cannot pre-order the system on the first day unless you have 50 hours of playtime on Nintendo Switch Online.
I did not hear that.
Yes.
That is whack, dude.
And this is reseller proof? Reseller proofing?
I don't
know. Oh, probably.
I guess so. But and so that's frustrating. And I also read that people said, look at the fine print. You have to, that thing you check whenever you sign up for anything that says, I agree to receive news and advertisements from this, whatever. If you don't have that box checked, which we all probably unchecked that box on Nintendo's online when we signed up, if you don't have that box checked, but you meet the qualifications, you will not get the invite to pre-order the Switch 2. Wow. And it's like, so that is so frustrating to me. Like, in 2001, I wanted a GameCube, and I was a spoiled rich white boy, and I got a GameCube. My mom didn't have to have a Nintendo online account for 50 hours of gameplay for her to wait at Walmart at 4 o'clock in the morning to get me a GameCube. Okay, because I didn't wait at Walmart at 4 o'clock in the morning. My mama did. That's wild, dude. Actually, it was Xbox 360, and it was my grandma. But I'll tell you that story later.
Awesome. Wow.
But that's frustrating to me. If I have the money to buy a Nintendo Switch 2, nothing should stop me from doing that. I'm sorry. Like, I should be able to pre-order that system. First of all, I shouldn't have to pre-order a game console. Make enough of the game so you don't have to do pre-order, of the Switch, so you don't have to do pre-orders.
That's absolutely the limiting factor. That's the constraining factor.
Well, thank God Nintendo doesn't have any resources or, Mewtwo's and factories in Thailand and Antarctica making systems.
It's literally the scarcity and the way. So the kind of chips that Nintendo and many, many, many other companies rely on are only made in so many places in the world.
Yeah.
And they're all vying for time in that manufacturing facility for their stuff to be made. And if you're depending on AMD or NVIDIA to make you a custom gaming chip and make you a shitload of them so that you can put them in your Switch 2s in your factory, like, there's a whole global supply chain that, like, makes all this. I'm not defending scarcity, because I think manufactured scarcity, or rather poor planning which leads to scarcity, is weak sauce. You're Nintendo, for crying out loud, but there's a reason behind all that stuff. I think the real thing I would kind of underline and agree with you on is I guess it's an attempt at preventing resellers from just like setting up a bunch of bots and pre-ordering Switches.
Which I appreciate, for the record.
Which I can appreciate that. But it's a really strange line to draw. Because there's a bunch of people that have played lots of hours on Nintendo Switch, but not online. They never bothered to get the online thing. Because all they wanted to do was beat Breath of the Wild 1,400 times. And like that's a really strange place to draw the line. And I don't think it sits well with me. But.
I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second here. I know we're running out of time, but I like it. I'm going to say this. If I know you guys aren't like shoe guys, I'm not like a sneakerhead guy either. Sure. But I have spent some time in the past few years trying to get in-demand articles of clothing, shoes, some devices. There was a time where I was trying to get an analog pocket. I'm going to say that I think the only way to do it is to make getting one much more difficult than not, because these resellers are so vicious.
Yeah.
And they are resourceful. There are people like these guys who like go on Instagram and post pictures of shoes that are sold out instantly, that nobody got, that everyone's sad they missed out on, and they literally have a box truck full of them because they have access to some kind of weird either backdoor deal or botting network or something. And it's more than just like a pedestrian problem. It's become like piracy almost.
Yeah.
It's wrong, and it manipulates the market in a way that adversely affects the end consumer so devastatingly that like it's affecting the market. There has to be legalities put in place, and Nintendo I think is trying to like ward off like within their power what they can.
Yeah,
but like I know it's frustrating, and I get it. I prefer to see those kinds of measures taken. It tells me that they're serious about it. But I get it. It's frustrating. But I like that. There's some companies that are just like, we don't care. We're making our money,
Right.
and we don't care how we get it. And then
Making
everybody in the
some
bottom
sort of
gets screwed.
effort to ward off the pirates is good.
There's probably a middle ground. I know that's probably
Exactly. That's all.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a even better way to do it.
Right.
Because again, Switch Online is not something that a lot of people are probably super into. Nintendo's never been known for their online experience.
Is it not? Is that not like a common thing? I don't have a Switch.
I wouldn't say so. I can't think of anybody like. What are you playing Splatoon online competitively? You know what I mean? Like I know someone is, but nobody I know.
Deg, you play Switch. Do you have the criteria? Like, are you able to do it?
No, I don't meet the criteria. So, and I don't play that much. I don't play that much Switch right now. So here are the criteria. This, and I just want to be clear. This is only for like the Nintendo Online web store, right? So to order it through Nintendo, you have to. These are the qualifications. You have to be a Nintendo Switch Online subscriber for at least 1 year as of April 2nd, 2025. Which I don't meet that because I canceled my Nintendo Switch Online subscription for most of last year. And I resubscribed in October when we started playing the new Mario Party Jamboree so we could play with some friends. Have at least 50 total gameplay hours as of April 2nd on Nintendo Switch Online, not gameplay hours on the Switch, on online games.
Right.
So invitations will start rolling out May 8th. Nintendo states release day delivery is not guaranteed. And there actually is a really good Reddit article that describes the best way to get the game. Honestly, looking at this, I think the best way to get the game is going to be to wait outside of a GameStop. Straight up, like look based off what I'm seeing, because GameStop is one of the only retailers that doesn't allow pre-ordering at all, and so they don't
do pre-orders of consoles.
There, it says that they don't. Never mind. Wait outside the store. Oh yeah, they do pre-orders. But they said be prepared to wait in line for 2 hours to do a pre-order for the system.
To do a pre-order.
Sorry, exactly. I read it wrong. I think it was saying to pick up the system.
Oh, you're good. I got you. Yeah.
But
yeah, you're probably right. I think doing it through Switch Online is pretty niche. Maybe it's a slightly more guaranteed or less laborious way to do it because you don't have to go to GameStop. And I don't like going to GameStop these days because it's like Funko Pops floor to ceiling, and it's, do they even sell games there anymore?
I heard. I mean, I saw this on a video. I don't know if it's true. It's, whatever on the internet, but I heard that if you go on the day that people are picking up their pre-orders, if you don't have one, you can get one if you bring a gun and take one from someone while they're walking out. I heard this. You'd have to try it yourself though. I
think that is an excellent plan. And I can't wait to see the first person who's going to do it. Probably will.
It'll happen.
Do you boys want to talk about Oblivion remake for like 5 minutes real quick? Or two minutes?
I'll tell you what. I can tell you that I have played Oblivion, but it was not my first foray into Elder Scrolls. Skyrim was. And I didn't beat that either. I am not a huge Morrowind or Oblivion head, but I absolutely recognize that it is the monolithic, incredible, formative experience that it was for a lot of people, and a console seller when it comes to Xbox 360 and stuff like that. Was a huge part of having a 360 is playing that. Are you just like the most stoked?
Oh, dude, I'm excited because I had no idea, and apparently nobody really had any idea. And,
right.
As it happens nowadays, I think Bethesda outsourced the remake of the game to a different company.
Right.
And some of the...
Because they're busy making Starfield 2.
Yeah, instead of Elder Scrolls 6.
It runs at a clean 40 frames per second this time, guys. We got it past 27... and it's up to 40.
Yeah, wow. What an achievement, Bethesda. So I read online, and what happened is their plan, Bethesda and the company that actually did the remake, right? And remake's not. It's a remaster. It's the same game with way better graphics, with modern graphics, which I think is super dope. But what happened is they accidentally left some code on their website, and some people were like digging around and found a bunch of images of the game.
Oh, okay.
And found a bunch of stuff basically saying release date was going to be next week. Like some people were saying next Monday. That they're basically just going to like shadow drop the game.
It's kind of cool
to surprise the fans. And I'm here for it. I probably won't buy it immediately, but I think it's really cool.
How much do you think they're charging for a game like
It
that?
better be $25, bro.
I was just thinking it better be like $25, but it will
Because
not be. It will be $50.
Yeah, it's probably going to be $50. The last thing in the last nail in the coffin for the Switch 2 conversation, real fast. Did you guys see they talked about the price of the expansion pass for the Switch 2 version of a Switch 1 game?
We're
$10.
still using the word expansion, Nintendo?
I guess
We're
so.
still using that?
It's what I saw it referred to as. If you get Breath of the Wild, which is still $70 probably, another $20 gets you over the hump to get the Switch 2 version of Breath of the Wild, so that you can play Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom for that matter, with the improved textures, with the graphical updates, with the additional features. But again, this is all providing that you don't already have a copy of Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, or any of these other games that they're doing a Switch 2 version of. So if you paid $70 for a game a few years ago and played it on your Switch 1, another $20 you can play the same game with a modicum of additional content.
Let me just say real quickly. Nintendo back in the 90s, as well as a few other software, hardware manufacturers, Sony with the PlayStation had some peripherals and things like that. Nintendo was like, hey, you want to play Donkey Kong? You got to get the memory thing. You got to put in the little slot.
Yeah.
These are hardware constraints. And they said, listen, this game will not run if you do not have this thing. Sorry, but get it if you want to play it.
Right.
Now, somebody went into an executive's office and said, hey, we can do the exact same thing, but for absolutely no reason.
Instead of buying a whatever it was $40 expansion brick for your 64, it's a $450 whole new console.
Yeah.
And also $20.
Right. But also give us $20 to play the game. And you're like, well, wait, why? Where's do I have to put a thing in there? It's like, no. Beat it, kid. We got your money.
Yeah.
Now you can play the game. It's so stupid to me. It's like, how do people... I know the games are good. And I brought up Dag earlier because I'm like, I'm sitting here looking at a guy who does want to play these games. So I don't want to be like, you're going to be a complete idiot to do this. I'm not the market, but it is crazy to me how they get away with some of this stuff. It's like, that is such a scheme, dude.
Oh, it's criminal straight up. I mean, it just
It looks like Breath of the Wild is about $60 right now. If you wanted to buy it and not buy it off of your neighbor or some guy.
Came out 5 years ago.
Which, and I'll say at this point, if you're going to buy Breath of the Wild, you shouldn't buy it new. That's a waste of money. Go buy it from someone and just play it like. Right.
Because guess what? You're going to download it from the eShop anyway.
Hey, you don't own it.
Well, as long as your console can read the card even a little bit, just do that. Yeah.
I will say, I think the pricing on the upgrade, if you own the game, is really pretty good. It's $10. I don't mind that.
It's 20.
It's 10 for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. It's 10 if you already own the game.
Hang on.
Is it an upgraded version or is it just like?
Yeah, it runs in 120 FPS or whatever, or 60 FPS.
They optimized it a little bit.
Which it won't. You know what I mean? Like it could.
Well, it will run way better. I mean, the
Switch. Yeah, because it ran bad in the first place because it was a bad game. I'm such a Breath of the Wild contrarian.
Breath of the Wild is the greatest video game ever made. I mean, I'm not even it's not even my favorite game, but it is probably the most revolutionary. Anyways, we won't get into that argument here.
That's crazy, dude.
That's such a horrible take. I know that other people feel the same way as you, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, a lot of other people. It's okay.
I don't know what to tell you. Most people have bad taste. I don't know.
Hot takes
That is true.
big,
That's
dude.
true. And truthfully, Tears of the Kingdom is a better game than Breath of the Wild. I'll die on that hill. I had a lot more fun with the second one.
Bro, I have not played a single Legend of Zelda game in my entire life, and there has never been a day that I've woken up and been like, bro, I think I need to play this game.
I miss Zelda.
Dude, it's so crazy.
I misspoke. The Breath of the Wild expansion pass is a different thing. The verbatim, the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild expansion pass, it includes 3 new treasure chests and 2 DLC packs. That is not the same thing as the Switch 2 upgrade version of the game or something.
Gotcha.
So I misspoke earlier. I must have read too fast. Breath of the Wild for Switch 2 is still too expensive. It's $70 to get the Breath of the Wild Switch 2 edition.
And you still don't
doesn't
own anything.
it doesn't include the DLC I just mentioned.
Oh, sick, dude.
So you'd have to pay $20 more to play all of the Breath of the Wild possible. $90.
And then they send you a little penis-shaped Nintendo logo you can ram up your own hole. But you don't own anything except for that, pal. Just destroy your
it's a
shoot
lot.
up
Yeah,
gum
it's-
balloon knot. The Nintendo logo.
Yeah, I mean, look, personally, I had like this is not a Zelda podcast, and that's not what this is, but I've enjoyed every Zelda game I've ever played. It's one of my favorite franchises, and Tears of the Kingdom in particular. I actually never got super into Breath of the Wild. I own it, and I'm gonna go back and play it again someday. But but Tears of the Kingdom, I played for 150 hours. To me, that's $60 well spent. I got 150 hours out of a game. Cool, $60 is not bad for that. And I enjoyed every second I played that game.
It goes back to my point earlier. Jake and I are literally I can't speak for Jake, but we're pulling your leg. It's like, and even if Jake is a bigger Nintendo fan than I am, I'm pulling your leg. I have no dog in this fight. I'm not even going to look down at you.
No deg in this fight.
I got no deg in this fight. You could spend $200 to get that game and play it and enjoy it. I'd be like, whatever. It's not my money. It's not my life.
It's
your
not my
business.
bag, baby. Like Austin Powers.
It's not.
my
Yes.
bag, baby.
Yeah. Do I make you horny, baby? Playing Zelda make you
Vote-
horny,
vote-
I
baby?
make you randy, baby.
Does spending $300 on a game that you don't own make you horny, baby? Yeah. Okay, so that's my stance. I'm not the target audience, so I'm not really actually speaking into this at all. I'm just Safari Jared. I'm just out here looking through
Sorry,
bushes.
Jared. Well, hey, just like it's not your bag. My bag is not like racing games or but there are like tons of people who are super into that kind of thing.
You would never
And
pick up a fighting game.
I just would never pick up a fighting game. It's
Right,
not
right.
I mean, I liked Soul Calibur 2 when it came out, but I only bought it because you could play as Yoda. Literally, it's the only reason I bought it. And so, yeah.
Or 3.
Oh, 3. Yeah, 3 was the one with Yoda.
Oh, wait, no, 4. 4 was the one with Darth Vader and Yoda.
Which one?
Link
was all-
and Spawn.
Link and
Heihachi
Spawn's
were
the one I played. Link and Spawn is the one I played.
Soul Calibur 4 on the GameCube, being able to play as Link was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Am I frozen?
No,
No, you're not frozen.
I'm just trying to fart.
I think that's a good time to close.
I was focusing really hard.
That's so
Paused.
funny. You don't want to drop your new stomach out your shorts.
I didn't want to, y'all. The line between fart and got really close whenever I had the surgery.
That's amazing. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen, for sticking around during our only somewhat heated, only somewhat serious discussion about the state of the video games industry. If you've got any input, let us know in the comments. Hit us up. DMs are open. Find us on Instagram and YouTube at 3 Grasstouchers. Tell your friends. Share the pod. Love the pod. And until next time, get out there and touch some grass.